Here are our KKE spacers. Okay, here's our rim. And exposed silver, cast aluminum. Okay, so what do we need to do to get this thing going? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the tire on this thing. So I got these inner tube guards, strips. So I ended up getting basically the 1 1/4 inch wide strips. Let's see where I get out of the hole. One thing I always use is cornstarch to help the tire go on a little bit more easily. And I'm installing a Dunlop D606, and this is a 130 1980. And this thing doesn't have any arrows for rotation, as far as I can tell. Got the tread. The tread doesn't look like if it matters which way it goes either, as far as I can tell. All right, a couple of things here. I've got these bead lock tools, and then I also have these rim guard plastic tools as well. Basically, that's going to help me not scratch the rim. So, and then I'm going to partially inflate the inner tube. So let me get the inner tube out of here. Check the size here. Take out my handy dandy tire irons. So I'm using 5 of these, and these are Tusk irons, and I believe that they're, how long are these? Let me get a measuring tape. Okay, so the tire arms are 15 inches, in case you're wondering. They have a pretty good amount of leverage associated with them. A while back I got an extra spoon in this, roughly the same length. Okay, so the one thing I'm going to do is move this table over. Okay, last tire I changed I think was the front tire, so I'm going to reposition these guys at 18 since this back. That said, I'm gonna, let's see here. Obviously, I'm gonna put a sprocket on one side of this thing and the disc rotors for the brake system on the other. This side here, obviously, is for the sprocket. And I'm gonna put a little dusting of this just kind of on the Gonna find my rim lock now. Okay, so one thing I needed to do, because I didn't do it earlier, is I needed to get the beads in between the rim lock. So I flipped it over, used the tire iron tools to get that back in there. Now I'm going to flip it back. So this should be in place. So we need to get this started here, this side of the bead started, and we need to get that into the rim lock here. So a couple things that they say, basically you can push this in by just taking one of the tire irons and just kind of pushing against it, and then with the other hand, you know, get the bead under there. So I'm gonna attempt to do that. So first thing is let's get the bead started, and I'm gonna push it down here with the handle. Start it there. There we go. And then one thing we can do here is lock this in place here. See if I can put a little more leverage on it. Okay, there we go. All right, so protectors on there. Anti-scratch protection. The one thing that you got to do is when you're doing this, you got to figure out where you're going to end up at. So I'm going to try to end up roughly about here, which is 90 degrees from this bead lock. So right where this, I have a letter B right here. So over here, I need to put in a bead and make sure that this goes into the center here where there's a little bit of slack. But let's see here. Okay, let's get started here. So get that in there, and so So the bead is not really wanting to go into the tire lock, so at some point we're going to need to apply pressure on that side to make sure it scooches down in there. So I'm going to keep on working this around here, and as it gets tighter I'll be watching that. Of course, while I'm doing this, I'm making sure I'm not pinching the rim. So, I've got a little bit less than half here, but I'm going to take this tool here and kind of push it down a little bit. Just make sure that it's not walking onto the rim. There we go. Now, the one thing that I can do here to help me along here, I'm going to push this down a little bit on this side. And then take one of my tools here, spoke lock tools, and keep it from the rim creeping back off. So I'm going to push this here, pick a spot right here. So I need to get the thing there and then lock that in place. So at that point now, this bead it'll stop the bead from walking back. And right here, you can see this is where the rim lock is. It's slipped underneath the rim lock. So this is good here, and I can just now continue to walk this back around here. So over here, what we want to do is, because it's going to be tight right here, I want to, right now the bead is sitting right here against this thing here. I want to jam that down in there. So I'm going to push over here, which is about 180 degrees from that side there, and just keep that so it doesn't so this side is in the center portion there, and then just start working this thing, this opposite side here a little bit. My rim savers. Scooch this guy over. All right. Let's continue walking this down here. last little bit is always the toughest. Anyways, there it is. It's in there. Get my little pressure here. Take this guy out, and voila. One thing I always do is kind of bounce it around to seat it. Put some air in it. Anyways, there's my new wheel set, KKE rims, and went on fairly easy enough.